Good afternoon and welcome to another video with a guy and his projects. Today we are working on the WJ Overland. This is an 04 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4.7 liter high output Overland edition, and we are getting rid of it hopefully today. So I have a bad habit of when I'm enjoying myself, I just start doing stuff and then I forget all about filming it because I enjoy working on these. So sometimes I just start hitting it and later I'm like, oh shoot, I should have filmed it. So we're gonna start filming. I'll just show you what I did this morning and then show you what we're about to do right now, and then we'll do it. So you'll remember the video hopefully a couple months ago, I think now, where we removed the engine transmission transfer case out of this thing. I bought this as a scrap. It was T-boned. The other side looks fairly rough. Let's show you. So it was T-boned on this side. Guy was parting it out. I bought it for the engine and the axles mainly. And that's pretty much where we're at. So he had already gutted it for the most part. I kind of just finished with everything I'm interested in. I took, the windshield wiper motor. I took all the molding here because it was actually in really good condition. So I've got all the moldings for it. I've got the cowl, I've got the bumper, I've got the computers, I've got the ABS module. I'm pretty much saving all that because I do have two more project Jeeps in the lineup that need to be, I don't really know what's going on with them because they don't run. So I just kind of grabbed everything that I think might be beneficial. Now what we're going to do here with the axles is the brown Jeep, the brown WJ, ever since I bought it, the previous owner put a 4-inch Iron Rock off-road short arm lift kit on it, 4-inch. And he told me as soon as he put it on, he couldn't get rid of death wobble. I bought it, put an alignment on it, got rid of death wobble came back, aligned it again, got death wobble again, aligned it again, got death wobble again, and well, I'm kind of just tired of it. We've gone through the whole thing. So we are going to take this, we're going to take the springs and the shocks and the control arms off of this, and we are going to move this suspension under the brown Jeep. And that should cure the death wobble so I can actually drive the Jeep. While we save up, I have 1-ton axles. If you've been following me for a while, you've seen those sitting around for a long time now. I have 1-ton axles I want to put under the brown Jeep, but when I do that, I want to need a much bigger lift than 4 inches anyway. So for now, while it's in the waiting for money stage, we're going to put it back to stock. I can drive the stupid thing that way and enjoy it until we're ready to actually lift it. So that's the plan. So like I said, I kind of already got ahead of myself. Dripping brake fluid here, that's no biggie. We're gonna cut those lines in a minute anyway. So I already got the front shocks busted loose. The springs obviously just kind of sit in there, so that's no big deal. This control arm's already loose because I needed to steal a bolt on the brown Jeep because one of the times we got death wobble, that broke. So I stole that off here already. Not a big deal. We're going to take those two control arms and then that control arm as far as the rear goes, and then that should be free minus brake lines, so that'll be easy. Over here in the back, I think all we got is the rear shocks to come off, and then oh shoot, I don't even know, a bunch of bracketry on the axle and a couple control arms. The drive shafts are obviously already out because we removed the transfer case a while ago. And then I think I'm going to save the fuel tank depending on how hard it is to get to once we get involved. That's where we're at. So my big thing right now is we're going to go ahead and pick this up to remove all that, let the axles fall to the ground, all that fun stuff. What I'm unsure about is how to get this, once there's no axles, drop down onto the trailer. I'm going to back the trailer in, I think, and then I'm going to lower the Jeep onto the trailer. I'm not really sure how that's going to work out because there's no way that the fenders, the wheel wells on the trailer are going to fit between here. So yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. And instead of being smart and coming up with a plan, I'm going to do what I always do, and I'm just going to do what I want to do and then figure it out when the time comes, and that's where we're at. I'm not much of a planner, which is ironic because that's kind of my career. In my personal life, I'm a just work on it and figure it out crap kind of guy. That's where we're at. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to pick this up a little bit, just enough to get everything hanging, so as I unbolt things, it just kind of falls. Pretty much just taking the pressure off. Front end is removed. Now we got to focus on the rear end. So the rear end should be similar. Looks like we've got control arms, which should hopefully come off pretty easy. And then the shocks. We're gonna do the shocks first. And then we're gonna drop this down so it's somewhat sitting on the ground. Because I don't know if you guys can tell in the video, she's looking pretty rear end weighted right now. So I'm gonna put her back on the ground a little bit just to keep any shock load from happening if it starts to fall. And yeah, let's do it. All right, so we've got the shocks unbolted. We ended up slicing and dicing the sway bar links. And we've got the front control arms unbolted, as well as that upper triangulated one unbolted. Looks like there's a lot of lines we'll have to cut, but let's go ahead and raise and make sure the hardware comes apart before we get to slicing and dicing hoses. Okay, we got caught on something, but it's looking good. So it looks like we're just caught on the bracket for the upper control arm. Looks like we probably just need to slide this whole axle backwards. So knowing that, we've got some random brake lines we can go ahead and start cutting off because we shouldn't need a retard. Okay, so we have everything torn apart off this Jeep that we want. I've removed everything. We've got the front axle, we got the rear axle out, we took out the fuel tank, we got drive shafts, we got all that. There's some random miscellaneous crap in here we don't care about. Fuel tank, bumper, computers, all that stuff. And now it's time to take to the scrapyard. But in order to do that, I have to know how the heck I'm getting this on the trailer. So I really don't know what my plan is, but I do know that first things first, I gotta get the trailer underneath this thing. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull the trailer, put it underneath the Jeep, lower the Jeep as much as we can, and then I don't really know what to do from there. The kind of idea I got right now is just take the floor jack up one end, swing these arms out, and then drop it down, then do the same thing in the back. Don't know if that's going to work, but that's kind of my plan of attack at the moment. So if you want to see that, stick around because it might get rowdy. All right, so we got the trailer under the Jeep. The biggest thing I was worried about is the fenders right here with these arms, but I think looking at it now, the front arms are not in the way at all. So what we might do is exactly what we said, drop it down as far as we can and then pick up one end or the other of the Jeep. But let's see Go ahead and drop it down first. Okay, which is gonna be right about there. Now we're all but touching there. So we're gonna come over here. Oh. Now, if we stick to our original plan, what I'm wondering is if I can get my wife. If I can pick the Jeep up one at a time, my wife could swing those arms out, and that would probably work. There you go. So now, we're just resting on the jack for the front end. We'll take care of the back end. Once my wife gets out here, I'll try and hold that up while she pulls this out. And hopefully we can do that without damaging anything, ourselves or the trailer or the jack. We'll move to the front and do the same thing. Hopefully she gets out here soon. So all we're gonna do is, what you're going to do is when I say so, just gonna turn this counterclockwise, which will drop the jack. As it's dropping, I want you to kind of just pull it out of the way so I can drop this. And now, bring it back in. Okay. So you're probably going to end up sliding it up this way. Try not to let it hit the floor, but it gets me. And hopefully I'll be able to control it decent.
Right there?
Yep. Fast. Heavy. Now we're good. Okay. Now we'll do the same thing in the front. Okay. Tighten it up a little bit. Okay. Grab it way to that front. Oh, it's very balanced. Go to that jet. Pull it out.
Okay.
Good. Okay, now this side. This jet. Ready. Cool, thank you. I just got strapped down. Of course, I'm going to take it. Thanks.